His late night favorite show. At least that is what I'm going to continue to project into the future as we continue to create our shows. And tonight, we're going to talk to the Reverend Don Lewis. It's been about a week since we've talked to him. Things have happened, and we're pumped up about that. And we're going to talk about the omnibus and other things. But let me go ahead and give you some little reminders in the community today. There's a lot happening out there. Next week we're hoping to at least have one day we're going to talk about the various things that are happening to women, trans, and everything else. I've been wanting to have What's Rising, which is going to be a show coming up, but we have yet to get that produced because of the busyness of everything else. But here we are. We are with Reverend Don tonight. Hi, Don. How you doing?
Hello.
And people are checking in. They want to know how you're doing.
Well, I'm doing well. I am moving a little slower than usual, but speeding up by the day. So I'm recovering well. I have been out of the hospital for about 8 days now, and getting back to normal.
All right.
Hello, Cosmo. Hello, Serdwer.
And we want to thank people who have helped you and supported
Yes.
you on that sort of thing.
Yes, I want to thank everyone who has been praying for me or sending me good wishes or sending me gifts. I appreciate you all.
Absolutely, and that's an important thing. So, what brings you on today?
Well, I believe we were going to talk about the omnibus.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yep, there we go.
Hello, Marlene.
So why don't we talk about the omnibus? What about it?
Well,
it arrived, right?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I happen to have a copy right here. And this is the Reverend Don's Omnibus of Reverend Don's Super Omnibus of Magical Incantations and Invocations for All Occasions by myself and Marianne Kay. You can see the book here. And hello, Brenda. Thank you. You can see it's full of artwork and writing. And you can see what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
This is the hardcover copy. There's also a softcover copy.
Well, hold on. Okay. Before we get to that, your timing's always been a little poor on these things.
Okay.
You always put out that. So those are going out in the next few days. Well, those will go out if you've already ordered them. We actually do have a few orders that we actually. But what makes that book special?
Well, what makes this book special, the hardcover copy of the omnibus, is that it was offered on a limited basis only.
Mm-hmm.
This version was offered through Kickstarter, and it was limited, I believe, to 125 copies. We said was the most we would print. We did not print that many. So they're collector's items, and the people who have purchased them will have them signed, dated, and numbered to attest to their collector status.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go.
So why don't you give us some of the history about this book?
Oh my goodness.
Well, where did it begin?
The omnibus began with a project called Mini Spells that we were doing 20 years ago, more or less. I think we were already doing it 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Mini Spells were a little spell, most of them written in rhyming form. And they came with a candle and instructions for how to do it as a piece of candle magic. And I believe they were $1 a piece back in the day. And hello to Bradley, and hello to Eric, and hello to Mary.
You can do that after you finish your stories. Pay attention. As you can tell, Don's easily distracted these days.
So anyway, we were doing the mini spells, and we had rather a large collection of these little spells. And somewhat as an inside joke. We felt that we needed to say where they came from. And so we created this extremely pompous name for the non-existent grimoire that they had been pulled out of. Reverend Don's super omnibus of magical incantations and invocations for all occasions, because who could believe such a book existed? We thought everybody would understand it was a joke, and most people, I think, did. And then a few years later, we decided maybe it shouldn't be a joke, and Marianne Kay actually created the super omnibus, and she used the mini spells and all kinds of different artwork from my morgue, because I had decades of artwork available to use for this. And she put the book together, did a wonderful job, and at that time it was available not in book form. In fact, it's never been available in book form before, but it was available as a download. And you could print it out, you could use it for coloring pages, you could use it in your book of shadows, you could even use it in publications at that time. And then it was there for a little while, and then it became not really available for a long time. Recently, we decided we should bring it back out, and that's how the Kickstarter was born. And it
There you
does
go.
have some new artwork that was not in it before. And well, there you go.
There you go. And there you go. Now you can say hi to everybody. Now that you got
Hi,
through your story.
everybody.
And thank you, Bradley, for being here. And this is Ash and Well.
Hello, Ashton.
Mm-hmm. And the comments made it. Mary Hawks made it. It says, "An artwork morgue. That's scary."
Well, you know, that's a term that was used in the commercial art world. I don't know if it's still used today, but it referred to old pieces that you had done that you had kept either to reuse or just for the sake of keeping them in case they were ever needed. And it was thought of, for want of a better way to put it, as old dead projects, hence the name morgue. Um, Hello to Melanie. And you know, the idea of an art morgue, I still use the term because I have a lot of art. Some of the art in the omnibus goes back to the 1970s,
Mm-hmm.
which is quite old. And we found over the years that the fact that I had kept the art morgue and had all of that old artwork was a great resource for when we put together things like the omnibus. Um, well, there's still large amounts of artwork that's never been published that is in my art morgue.
And so that's one of the things you want to do when you're working on the retirement side of this.
Yes, yes, I'm looking forward to working more on artwork again, as I did in my youth, and also writing, but particularly artwork.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's the like. So Heather's mentioned John is joining us now. Heather's mentioned. Let's see if we can read it. You are glowing.
Well, I'm not sure which of us that's directed toward, but yes, we'll take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
And Cosmo has a question whether I do my artwork by digital tools now, and the answer is sometimes. I really never got too far into that because I was trained so long ago in hand art. But I think I'll be getting more into digital artwork, and also I have used digital tools to fine tune some of my artwork.
Uh, Ashton says that they do it for their own tattoos and things of that nature.
Absolutely, it's a
So,
wise practice.
so give us a few more minutes, and then we're going to have a big announcement here. Um, they miss your chats. You
They will
plan
be
to,
returning.
sure. When do you think? Do you have a plan or?
I'm hoping this coming Monday. Um, it will kind of depend what else is going on if it's that fast or not. I had hoped for
Mm-hmm.
last Monday, but circumstances did not permit because I am still recovering. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to getting back to the chats.
Okay. So out there, well, now show your the next omnibus.
Okay. And
There
this
you
is
go.
the paperback version.
And this is our mass market edition that's coming out.
Yes.
And it's going to be $20.
Hmm.
Um, a
All the
lot
same
of,
artwork.
not all the same artwork, is
Well,
it?
mostly the same artwork. Yeah,
Did you
that's true. It isn't.
the
The
hardcovers?
collector's item does have some things in it.
Mm-hmm. And not only are you offering it to the public, right?
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Let's talk it. Here you go. We will interrupt this a moment. Hella is listening to. So we're going to
Hi,
be
Hella.
offering. So this is your first mass market art book,
That's true.
and that is going to be available for those people who are sponsors or vendors who have stores. It'll be offered wholesale to them. It is
Yes.
going to be offered to the public for $20. And here we go. Da-da-da, our Witchstarter campaign. It'll probably be added to our campaign tomorrow. We're going to add this to our swag bag number 2 and 3, I believe.
Swag.
So, yeah, so we're going to actually add from Corelli Publishing, soon to be Pagan World Publishing. We'll be adding that to our swag bag as there is more items there that you can imagine. This will be another item we're going to add to it if we can just get up a little bit higher. So yes, we'll be adding that to the swag bags. We'll make a more official announcement of that. Um, so our Kickstarter continues on, and we've got about another 11 days to go on that. So thank you everybody for that. I mean, it's been pretty remarkable. I always like the fact that we get support.
Yes, indeed.
Um, so
And it's a
Mary,
wonderful program.
okay, so let's go ahead a little bit. So as you know, this week has been like an amazing week of programming. Um, this has been amazing. We've had uh, Lord Phoenix on it as the new first priest. We've had the Chancellor on it. On this, yesterday we had a great day of Tarot Thursday. On Wednesday, we made our announcement about our independent that we're making more of an independent run. I think that's really important. Um, Last Friday, you were on. We were able to say about that. So we've had a great week of programming, and on Sunday, it looks like it's happening. Tomorrow we will completely confirm it. Elizabeth, we have a friend by the name of Elizabeth,
Hmm.
who is gotten a press pass to Oscars, the Oscars press corps. And we're just making it a little bit more sure. But Sunday, we might be coming live from the Oscars.
That would be wonderful.
Isn't that kind of interesting? We're growing things. So
It would
there's
be
a good,
unprecedented.
it would be unprecedented, and it looks like it's going to happen. If anyone has questions for Don, please send them in here. Yes, he wants to get back to that. Yeah. But you're talking about your art morgue, and you have a
Hmm.
lot of art in that morgue, and you like to make new art. So we were talking about today is that you're a good artist. And some people will go that you're a great artist.
Mm.
But you, and one of the reasons why you want to retire is that you really haven't done anything yet that moves you fast than a very prolific, pen and artist. You have, the art, the first, second, and third degree books of the new ones. If you don't know about that, Corellian Publishing. We have Bren. You have all those books, and they've been redone with some new writings about mage runs and things like that. But once you
Hmm.
talk, but it was a lot of art change. That's why they're more.
Well, in the degree books, there actually is quite a bit of art that was done using digital tools. To go
Mhm,
back to that question, and I'm very pleased with that artwork. It
mhm,
is its own distinct thing within my work. Historically, I was mostly known for black and white pen and ink work. I don't know if that's still true today, but I am still mostly known for small pieces, and I do have a desire to do some larger pieces, some more I don't know, we might say permanent pieces than I've had the chance to do in the past.
okay, and isn't that so? Something more, huh?
Something more.
Um, I will answer that question in a minute.
But yeah, I'm thinking of doing more sculpting, maybe some more painting than I have done in the past, because I've not had the time for that level of work for a long time.
So I don't know if you're asking me this, or I guess you are. Let me check. So yeah, these messages are moving along. We're across multiple platforms, and I'm a
We're
little caught.
everywhere.
We are everywhere today. Um, Lord Don, did you see Everything Everywhere All at Once? I personally have.
I have not.
Okay, so he can't really
I've heard a
answer.
lot about it, but I've not seen it at this time.
And did you find their multiverse concept is rather akin to your teachings of the multifaceted diamond allegory? Sorry, you can't really answer because you haven't seen the movie.
Yeah,
So, but I will say this: not so much the diamond allegory that it was, and they had used that idea of multiplicity of the idea of the unit multiverse. Of course, they had conflict and everything else. I think it was very well done in concept. The fact that it's possibly going to win a lot of Oscars is remarkable for a science fiction story. Um, but John, maybe you get to see it sometime. I mean, you can answer to that question. I think it'd be
yeah.
very interesting.
And I think I would find it an interesting film.
Cosmos, what about fiction writing or screenplay work?
I would think about that, yes.
Well,
I've
don't you
always
look at?
enjoyed filmmaking.
But let's talk about the fact that you already have one book out.
I do have a novel, and I have considered adding to that series, but
Hmm.
haven't had time for years to work on it. And it was set in ancient Egypt. It was a murder mystery set in ancient Egypt, and the idea behind it was um, a series of stories along that line.
Hmm.
And the murder mystery itself is actually just a frame for exploring a lot of aspects of culture, both present and past, and also the characters and their relationships, which I think is actually the case for any really good novel. The novel is called Death on the Horizon of Joy, and it's available on Amazon. I
Is it on Crowley Publishing?
Let me look right quick. I'm not certain if we actually did put it there,
Hmm.
but I will know in a moment.
Yeah, but it's definitely on
It's
Amazon,
not, but it could be by tomorrow.
or you can order it directly from Amazon.
Yeah, Death on the Horizon of Joy. And if anyone is wondering about the title, Horizon of Joy is the name of a location in the story
In ancient Egypt.
in ancient Egypt.
Um,
Now, is it a
so,
good novel? That's for other people to judge. But I enjoyed writing it.
so yeah. So one of the things I think people have not understood after 44 years of service, you have not you almost all the expressions of art that you've done,
Hmm.
um, except for this novel, almost everything you've written has been in the idea of creating and expanding the Corellian universe.
Yes.
In the nomenclature of the day, the captured universe of the kind of the idea of the multiverse or the kind of the universe of stories that you write, the books you've written is all about the practicing of faith
Yes.
and that sort of thing. Will you continue that?
Probably, but not exclusively. That is my thought. Because I
Hmm.
mean, it is the thing that I love. It is where my mind most commonly turns, but there are also lots of other cool things out there too. And Cosmo was asking about horror, for example. I'm a great fan of horror films and horror literature, so I might try my hand at that.
Well, aren't you working on now that I think you're coming out of the hospital, you're now recovering?
Yeah.
You and Cosmo are going to be working on the library of Don Lewis's Library of Horror.
Yes, we are reviving the Library of Horror, and at this point, it's probably a few weeks away to
Hmm.
get it prepared and bring it out.
Hmm.
We had been moving to do it a little quicker, but obviously my being in the hospital slowed that down. But we still
Absolutely.
plan to go forward as fast as possible.
And I guess that is. I don't care. I don't care. It's giving me the system's giving me message. It can't post a few pages. Was
Hi,
Brian saying?
Brian.
Oh, it's just hi. Okay. This is. Um, why are you doing that tonight? Some of the internet has been wonky. So, do you have any thoughts? So I. There we go.
So
All
going
right.
back to the novel for a moment,
Mhm.
the novel, despite the fact that it's a murder mystery, what it's really about is being careful of your expectations and preconceptions. And it has a lot to do with interpersonal relationships, particularly from that ancient Egyptian perspective. One thing I was trying very hard not to do is have an ancient Egyptian character with a 21st century mindset. I think that's something that takes away from a historical novel. So I didn't give him ideas that the protagonist ideas that would not have been possible in that era. But a lot of the story is about the protagonist, whose name is Amenhotep, um, coming of age in a manner of speaking through these experiences and realizing many of the things that he thought were true actually were not. About some of the individual people he's dealing with, but also about culture.
So, Reverend Michael, terrific. You're never late. A wizard is always on time. So you're
Yes.
here. So let's talk about another project you've got that you've been that you've accumulated all these dowels.
Oh, yes. Yes, I
Mm-hmm.
been wanting to do stop motion animation,
Mm-hmm.
and I am hoping to now have time to do it. A few years ago, I had a little bit of time to begin, and then I found I didn't have continuing time for it. But I think I will have time now, and I have been working on an animated version of Edgar Allan Poe's Ligeia,
Mm-hmm.
and also have in mind an animated version of Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. And we'll see how
Yeah,
they go.
absolutely. So you've got that art project in, but let's go back. So for those of you who have ordered the hardcover of the
It'll
book,
be coming to you soon.
it'll be coming soon, and you can order directly on Amazon soon
Hmm.
for the trade back. Join our Webstarter campaign. We'll be announcing it tomorrow. So if you buy it from there, and or you'll be able to buy it in the next day or two. It'll be right on our site, so you can buy it directly.
Yes.
If you are a merchant or you want to buy multiple copies of the trade paperback, contact us. Contact me, and we will make arrangements so that you can buy them and put them in your store for $20. And it'll be out at the festivals. I think it's going to be a great item. And so let's talk about that book. It also duplicates this. So it isn't just about spells. It's about um, for using it every day. You could use it in a game of D&D. They'd be perfect spells for Dungeons and Dragons,
Well,
gamers of
that's
all
true.
kinds. And it works as a coloring book.
Hmm.
So if you like to color, you could color it because it is all black and white.
Yes.
Um, and so I think that's very, very interesting.
Hmm.
So, so and you're doing some. So the one other thing you've done a little bit, you got two episodes, which I think we want to bring out pretty quickly, of your interviews with other pagan leaders.
Yes. Paganism Today with Reverend Don Lewis, and there are a couple already produced and more to come. And
Uh,
we talk about, things facing the pagan community today, where it's going, and also the individual careers of the people I speak with.
mm-hmm. And so yeah, and there we go. All this energy, all this time, and man, it's very interesting how it all works. So we got about 5 minutes left of where we're going to talk with Reverend Don. So if you have any more questions, please ask. To review, yes, he's doing more. Going to do more artwork. This book was the books that he's just recently produced. The Omnibus has been part of that ongoing process. For those who want to know about his Monday chats, he'll be back soon enough. If not
Mhm.
this Monday, soon enough. Um, Anything else we should know?
Oh my goodness. Um,
Mm.
the only thing is that I am becoming active again and expect to be much more so in the future.
And so, in this next phase of your life, and this is kind of one of the harder, more difficult things to talk about, is that you've lived very much for the church, by the church, and
Hmm.
literally you dumped every cent you had ever into it.
Yeah, I
And
did, literally.
yeah, and now it's there, it's producing, but it's still not there to ever. You'll never see that money come back out. Just not. It's just that it was never
Well,
intended to.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't really done with that intention.
Hmm.
Um, but there are other things now that I will be doing that I think will produce that.
Because you have to focus on that.
Well, I do. Um,
Hmm.
I have done a great deal of writing, artwork, and filming for the church and its various bodies, which, if I had done them for myself, I'd be in a very different position. And I don't begrudge any of them. I very intentionally gave everything to the church.
Hmm.
Sold the family home for the sake of the church. Um, but I also have to now, as I come into the latter part of my life, I have to think about that as well. And so, as I say, not everything I do may be the same as everything I've done. Some may
Hmm.
be aimed at a wider audience or a different audience, although certainly I will continue to work with the current audience.
Hmm.
But I may find myself diversifying as we go forward. I don't really know what's going to happen in that sense. But I am going to remain active as a writer and an artist and a filmmaker and a journalist. Because, I mean, I
Absolutely.
have all these years been a journalist, and I have no intention of retiring from that or those
Hmm.
things.
Well, you've got a lot of good team. You got a really good team to take over administrative tasks. I
Yes.
mean, you've been training them for years and years and moving them up. And as this week we showcased them all.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, I often talk about how good it is to see the younger people coming up and know that the future is in good hands. And I've had the unusual experience of effectively dying and still being here to see what happens. And
hmm.
so often when you die, you don't have any further physical influence on the situation. But that is not exactly the case here. So, I mean, as an ancestor, one has an influence anyway. But in this sense, I'm here to help and advise and whatever is needed within the context of also being
Hmm.
retired in office.
So we'll be seeing more of Don soon as he continues to go up. I don't want to tax him at this time. I want to thank him for being here. And as always, I think we want to end it. It was very interesting, Lord Phoenix, do it because he did sound a lot like you,
I
a different
can't
voice.
imagine why that would be.
But we want to ask you to leave us in a prayer for tonight and as we exit for our show, The Daily Spell, which will be back Monday. But watch the news. We might be on Saturday or Sunday for the Oscars. Maybe. I'm hoping my fingers.
Wouldn't that be remarkable?
Hmm.
The Divine Mother Goddess, Divine Father God, beloved ancestors, we ask you to help us and guide us in our lives and to help us to be our most authentic selves and to live up to the most that we can be. Help us to express our truth in the world and to find a receptive audience for that truth. Beloved Mother Goddess, beloved Father God, beloved ancestors, we thank you with love and respect, and may you blessed be. And may you blessed be until next time.